Hey guys, Lucky Zach here today, and today we're switching it up a little bit. I'm talking about a story back from 7th grade. It involves me, my friend, and a snapping turtle. And, okay, listen guys, don't ever catch a snap. It's not smart. It didn't go well. You're about to see why. This story starts on a Saturday morning at 7 o'clock. I had woken up and couldn't go back to sleep. So I sat up, my stomach was all rumbly, and I was like, alright, I need a cherry Pop-Tart. So I went and grabbed a cherry Pop-Tart and watched some cartoons. And as I'm watching the cartoons, I'm like, oh yes, my friends are going to be waiting for me. So I went outside, ran to the cul-de-sac, where we would typically meet. We'll call them Steve and Jay. And as we're sitting there talking about what the day has in store for us, we would probably go down to the forest, and there's a creek that we'd play at for a little bit, and then we'd go play Smash Bros, Minecraft, Pokemon, just whatever we decided for the day. And so as we're sitting there talking, Jay's over there not looking too good. I'm like, you okay? And he's like, man, I don't feel too good. And he actually ends up going back home and tells us later on that he started throwing up. It was not a good time. So the day just had me and Steve. And so we go into the woods and we're following the creek down because there's actually a part of the creek that we went and visited. Like the part that we're walking at right now is real shallow. And when you got to the part that we liked the most, which was the part where we caught like bucket loads of crawdads and, I mean, like lots and lots of them. You had to watch out for snakes because they everywhere. I mean, cottonmouths were found, rat snakes, just loads and many. And then one summer we actually caught catfish. Now they were just little bitty catfish, but there was like hundreds of them. So this creek was bountiful with animals. And we get there and I'm like, hey man, look, we didn't put that rock there yesterday, did we? And he's like looking around me trying to figure out like what rock. And as I'm pointing at the rock, he's like, oh my god, is that rock moving downstream? And so we run up to this rock because, I mean, it literally was like kind of bobbing up and down the water. And we get there and it stops. And he's like, oh my god, dude, it's a turtle. And me and him are both like, oh, whoa, that's a huge turtle. That shell was the size of my abdomen. It was humongous. And it was all tucked up in the shell, just staring like directly at us. And as I said earlier, it was a snapping turtle, but I found out in Texas there's actually two kinds of snapping turtles. One looks like the devil himself, and the other looks like a turtle. And so the difference between these turtles is that the common snapping turtle, which was the smoother shell one, actually was the one that we had found, and the alligator snapping is the one that has the ridges and stuff. And the common one actually apparently can bite harder than the alligator. So here they are again. The one on the left is a common snapper. That was the one that we had found in the water. And then you get the one that looks like it came from the devil's butt. And that's the alligator snapping turtle. So I'm glad we didn't find that one because, oh my god. So I'm over here getting all excited because, like, oh, it's a new animal. It's been a hot minute since we found something new at the creek, just typically the same thing. And as we're sitting there staring, this thing is literally, like, staring directly into our souls. Like, it's acting as if we get closer, it's ready to munch us. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go find a stick. And so I go out into the woods and grab a stick, and I come back. And the story gets even weirder because when I get back, Steve's talking to some random dude with a shovel. And I walk up and I'm like, hey guys, what's up? Who are you? And the man just looks at me and goes, bro, listen, I got you. And he walks over to the water, sticks the shovel underneath this turtle, and just starts lifting it up out of the creek, and then plops it to the side of the bank, and he's like, there you go, bro. This thing is pissed, it's hissing, it's growling, and Steve's like, man, listen, I know how to work with this thing. I've seen it. So he walks up, and he's like, if you grab it from behind the shell, then you can actually pick it up. And he starts reaching for behind the shell, and I'm like, man, I don't think so. He's like, I got this, don't worry about it. And he gets behind the shell, and this turtle's neck just goes and goes for his hand, and I'm just sitting there like, oh. And so I've never seen him ever move this fast in my life. He pulls his hand back and he's sitting there breathing heavily, freaking out. Can't blame him. I'm just staring at him like, and this dude with the shovel is just like, I'm gonna go now. See you guys. And he just leaves and we never see him again. From that day on, Steve refused to go near that creek ever again. Jay never believed us. This random man with a shovel never showed up again. It made no sense. Alright, that's the end of the story, but before we go, I just wanted to say, these are the sounds that this turtle would make, okay? The first one is the sound of its jaw snapping. That sound is actually for a neck snap, but in the moment it literally sounded like that. Like, I had thought my friend lost his finger, man. It was not great. Here's how it sounds when it hisses. Anyways, that's the end of that. It was just a whole mess. You just make sure you guys don't do that because It was so dumb, man. If you guys like this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And just be careful with snapping turtles. Don't get near them. There's no reason to lose your finger, man. That was one of the scariest moments of my life. Anyways, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.